Mama, welcome to episode 4 of What's the Plan? Personal Growth for Busy Moms. My name is Sharon and I am a busy mom that is so excited that you are here today. So let's go ahead and get to it. As promised in last week's episode 3, we are going to talk today about using a notebook or a MacBook to record your personal growth journey and also to just record all the things. So this is my MacBook. I started using a composition notebook as my primary planner back in 2015, I think. The process has grown so much in the last 7 years. When I look at my old notebooks, I can't even believe how far I've come since the very beginning. But I wanted to share with you this system, how I make it work for me, how it could work for you, why I love it, and then some hacks to getting started with it today. So let's start off by answering the question, what is a MacBook? I made up a MacBook, I guess. It's a modified idea from the bullet journal. So if you go on Pinterest and search bullet journal, you will find amazingly beautiful notebooks with calligraphy and fancy pens and moleskin notebooks and all the things. And I wanted to be that person, but I'm a busy mom. I don't have time for calligraphy. So it was originally inspired by the idea of a bullet journal. But at one point I just got frustrated spending so much money on planners. And I was like, you know what, forget it. Get me a notebook, get me a pen. And the MacBook is what came out of it. So my MacBook is my Make a Plan book, and it's where I keep all the things. The only thing not in here is my grocery list. There's no sticky notes around my house with random thoughts on them. There's, I don't use a bunch of different notebooks. I don't have legal pads everywhere. I keep my entire life for 3 months in this notebook. At the beginning of every year, I set up 4 notebooks, one for each quarter. And in the notebook, I keep all the things. It starts off with my table of contents that I kind of record as I go. And then I have a holding place, a future log for any upcoming, or anything I think of that's random that I don't want to forget, but I don't have a place to put it. I stick it there. I have my monthly to-do lists in here. So this is quarter 1. So I have January, February, and March listed in here. And these are all the events that I have coming up, birthdays, anniversaries, parties, holidays, and then any to-do list items that go with that. So if it's my sister's birthday, then of course, I have get a card, pick out a present, all those things. Action steps are written in the beginning in that month. I also use my notebook. I use it, like I said, for everything, but I've got my reflection wheel that I do at the beginning of each month. We'll talk about that in a later episode. But then I actually go ahead and let me see if I can find a good one to show you. I actually go ahead and plan my week and I plan my days in this notebook. So let's see. I've got here, back from January 17th, I've got my weekly plan. Remember, this is 7 years in the making. I've got my weekly plan. And then from there, I've got my daily plan, which again looks super intimidating, but I'm going to walk you through in future episodes what exactly it is you're seeing. I just wanted to give you kind of a sense of what the MacBook is. So like I said, I have everything in here. If I'm reading a personal growth book that's really striking a chord with me and I want to take notes, it goes in here. If I have an important meeting and I'm taking notes, they go in here, whether that be for work or whether it be, personal, financial, whatever it is, it goes in here. If it happened between January and March 2022, it's in this notebook. This is my quarter 1 notebook. So I'm sure you have a ton of questions at this point. Hang in there with me. Let me take a step backwards to explain to you why the MacBook is so awesome. And then I'll give you kind of some tips and tricks on how to get started with your own if you're interested. So why is my MacBook awesome? Honestly, the first reason is I never have to worry about forgetting anything. Like I said, I take an hour at the beginning of each year to set up my notebooks for the entire year. And then I just know if something pops up, it's in here. I trust this system. I think that's the key, is that you have to completely trust it and not put anything anywhere else and just commit to this, at least until you get used to it. And then I'm sure you could evolve your system a little bit, but it's just trusting that everything is here. And when you have that random thought, you capture it, you write it down, you put it in your parking lot or on the month it needs to happen or what have you, and use that as sort of like your capture tool to help you be assured that you're not forgetting anything. I love that the MacBook allows me to be proactive rather than reactive. Have you ever had like a kid's birthday party and you like at the last minute were like, shoot, I need to get this kid a present. And so you're at Target, you just spent like $15 on wrapping paper, like with those little like gift sets, and you're in like the trunk of your car, like frantically wrapping this present, super mad at yourself that you didn't use, you know, like the tons of wrapping paper you have in your basement. Not that that's ever happened to me, but I hate that feeling of being like reactive in the moment. And if you had just thought about it like on Sunday and been like, oh, I need to get the present for the party on Saturday, that you could have avoided that whole $15 debacle. Yeah, that's why I love the MacBook. It just really helps me be proactive rather than reactive. And that is the kind of mom I want to be. It's the kind of person I want to be. So I love it for that reason. The third reason that I love my MacBook, and I'm a little bit obsessed with it, is because it helps me stay focused and it helps me be confident. So for example, every day I write down the top 3 things that I need to do for that day. Like my top one for today is record this video. So in my MacBook, I can be sure that I am staying focused on the most important thing. And I'm also confident that I didn't forget anything. I noticed before the MacBook that I would have a lot of insomnia at night because things were like drifting through my mind that I had to do, and it would drive me nuts. And I couldn't sleep because I was like, oh, I have to wrap that present for Saturday. And then like 10 minutes later, I'd think it again. And then 10 minutes later, I'd think it again. And I'd be like, I'm not sleeping because I'm thinking about this birthday present. Write it down. This MacBook lives next to my bed. So at night, I will literally turn the light on, write down, get present for Saturday afternoon, and it's done. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's like, like imagine the relief, mama, of taking that off your plate. I mean, yeah, you eventually have to do something with it, but you don't have to worry about it now, which is just such a relief. So if you're looking for that in your life, the MacBook might be for you. The last reason that I am obsessed with my MacBook is because it's 100% customizable. I've probably spent close to $1,000 on planners throughout my life, and as much as I'm obsessed with buying them and wandering the stationery aisle at Target, I have found that I needed a system that I could customize. The planners that you pre-purchase that are already set up for you, they were always restricted me in some way, or they had something that I didn't use, or they didn't have something that I needed. And it just got frustrating. And so what I love about this is if I need to do, you know, if I just like randomly want to do a page of book notes about a new book I'm reading, boom, can put it right there. I can just adapt it as I go. If you look at one of my very first notebooks compared to this notebook, you can really see my progression, how I was like identifying what I needed as my notebooks grew and developed, and now I'm at a point where it's really a helpful tool for me. For example, I was noticing that like I'd get to, you know, October, November, and I'd be scrambling to come up with ideas for holiday presents for people. So the following year in my MacBook, I just kept a running like Christmas ideas list, and I just transfer it over, you know, quarter to quarter. And then by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, it's like, oh, look, I have Christmas ideas for everybody. And it's just like, again, another burden lifted off of you that you're just being a little more proactive rather than reactive, and it's 100% customizable. So if next year I don't feel like doing the Christmas list for whatever reason, I don't have to. So I definitely recommend, I mean, you can tell, I am obsessed with the MacBook. I really think you should check it out. There is a book called The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll, which I have read, and I did take some sort of advanced techniques from him, but the essence of the book is what I just shared with you here. So if you are interested, you can definitely check that book out. But I think, again, he had a bit more advanced like table of contents strategies and things like that, which I've slowly adopted. But if you're just getting started with this, I would just get your notebook and hit the ground running with that. If you want to actually set up your notebook and see what my notebook looks like, in the description below, you will find a link to the 5-day MacBook challenge that is hosted by yours truly. You insert your email address, and for 5 days, you will get emails from me with a very short video and a list of action steps that you can do in under 10 minutes. So if you get those emails and you stick to it for 5 days, by the 5th day, you will have your MacBook like completely set up no matter what month it is. Like, don't let that deter you. Don't be like, oh, well, it's February. I should have started in January, so I'll just wait till next year. Don't do that. No, get a notebook, watch the videos, do a practice run, start to get used to it, and then start to build on it. So over on the podcast, I have, again, this YouTube channel is just sort of like a snippet of the content. The deep content is over on my podcast. So today on the podcast, you will find my 5 best tips for starting your own MacBook. So you definitely want to check that out. I had a lot of fun writing those. And they're a little more nuanced. So if you're thinking this might work for you, you definitely will want to check that out. And then next week, my episode is going to be walking you through my quarterly review process. So I actually do my quarterly review in my notebook, surprise, surprise, the last 2 pages, and I'm going to walk you through what that process looks like so you can get an idea just again of like how I utilize my MacBook in real time. I'm going to show you like unfiltered exactly what's in my notebook and how I got there. So I'm really excited about that episode, and you'll definitely want to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss it. So red button right down there, go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss episode 5. And if you are interested in keeping up with me in between podcast episodes, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is @growthcoach4busy moms, and I will be sharing more behind the scenes of my MacBook from this week in real time if you want to check that out. That's it for now. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.